everyone on YouTube. I hope you're well. I'm back with the book tag. I'm going to do this video one take as well, and I just thought I'd come back and do this tag because everyone I know is doing this tag and it seems like a really fantastic book tag. So I'm going to get straight into it. The Hungry Bookworm came up with this tag. I'll put her channel down below, and it is based all around this book, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And what she's done is all the characters in this book have a different question, so a prompt to do with that character that you then have to answer and find different books that you think go with them. And I just thought it was a really cool tag, so that's why I'm doing it. I love this book. If you haven't read Murder on the Orient Express, you have to. It's not my favourite Agatha Christie. My favourite is still Halloween Party. I still absolutely love that, but this is such a fabulous read. It's also a really quick read, and it's about all these people get trapped on a train. Poirot's there, a murder happens, and he has to work out who on the train has murdered this person, because they're all trapped because there's a snowstorm. No one's got off the train, so you meet all the characters and you know that it's one of them, and they're all trapped on the train with this murderer, and it's just genius, absolute genius. Love it. So I'm going to get straight into it. I have my laptop here with all the questions. So the first character is Miss Hubbard, a multi-dimensional book. Now that can mean sci-fi. I don't go near sci-fi, it freaks me out. I don't know if anyone else is like this. I cannot watch sci-fi, read sci-fi. It gives me a really strange feeling. It really haunts me. I can watch the most disgusting, disturbing horror films, but I can't do sci-fi. I don't know what it is, I just cannot cope with it. So I chose a book, and this is going to be a scandal. Get ready for this scandal. I've chosen a character that I think she's really misunderstood, and I do think she's multidimensional. The book is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and this is about a woman who she marries a man, and then she moves into his big house, and she hears about his first wife, Rebecca, the original Mr. Winter. And there's this woman who works in there who's called Danvers, Miss Danvers, and Miss Danvers makes the new wife's life hell. And she's like, you are not like his first wife, and she humiliates her and is awful to her. And the character who I feel sorry for is Miss Danvers. I really do. And this book, you're reading it and you're like, Miss Danvers is awful. She's humiliating this new wife. She's making her life unbearable. She's really horrible. And then Daphne du Maurier flips it, and she has a scene which is Miss Danvers' thoughts. And Miss Danvers is saying, you're not my mistress, you're not the first wife. The first wife, she's dead in the grave. My Mr. Winter, the real Mr. Winter, the first wife, I loved her, I cared for her, and you've just swanned in here and you think you can take her place. That's not right. The first wife, he should have stayed faithful to her. When she died, he should have just not married someone else. He's brought in this younger woman. It's disgusting. And I kind of feel for Miss Danvers, because I'm like, yeah, that she had to look after the first wife and she loved her and really got along with the first wife, and then she dies, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's the replacement. You got to look after the replacement now. And she's like, no, I don't want to. The first wife, she was perfect. I don't want to look after this other woman now. And I really feel that she's misunderstood, Miss Danvers, so that's why I have chosen her. I think she is multidimensional, and you are just thinking she is evil, and then it kind of flips and you see it from her point of view. The next question is Call Arthur But Not, a book with a love affair or mistress. I have two. I have loads. Like, I don't know what it is with me, but like, so many of my books had mistresses. And when I was looking for this tag, I was like, oh my God, Hannah, you've got a problem. Like, reading about these salacious affairs, I'm like, oh. So I do actually have two which are very different. So first up, I'll show you Damage. I spent about this a million times. Damage by Josephine Hart. This is about a man who he starts an affair with his son's fiance, and his son's fiance is a really mysterious character who you can't really get that close to in the book. Like, she's just such an odd character. She's one of the oddest characters I've ever read about, and she is saying, we are going to damage everyone. We're going to damage your son. We're going to damage your wife. The whole thing, this is only going to lead to damage. And they keep having this affair, and it's really like he is addicted to her, like she's a drug, and he is just needs her all the time. And then you find out about her life and bad things that have happened to her within her life. And then, of course, it does all unravel, and the truth is revealed that he is sleeping with his son's fiancée, and it's just fantastically written. This is also turned into an amazing film, and the film is really exactly like the book, and the book is just phenomenal. Absolutely adore it. Another affair that leads to devastating effects is Jazz by Toni Morrison. So when this book starts, there's a woman called Violet and her husband has just killed his mistress, but he's got away with it. So it goes into that. So he's got away with the killing, but she knows her husband was having an affair with a teenage girl and now he's killed her. And I think the girl was 18 and she didn't know about the affair, and now like her husband's a murderer. And it's really about Violet, the main character, going into madness, and she's not like stable anymore because she just thought it was her and her husband. And then it goes back in time to other things that have happened, and it goes back to when they first met and they were so in love with each other and everything they had to overcome together. And then now he's killed this girl and she is just slowly going mad, and people around her are realizing that she is losing it. She is going mad. There is a devastating scene with her pet parrot. There is a really odd scene where she goes and sees the girl's aunt, because the girl was living with her aunt and she, you know, knows that her husband killed the girl, and the aunt knows like, you're his wife, why on earth are you here? And that there's like an odd scene there. It is so good. It is haunting, but it is so good. And it's about also how like people, when you do start to slip into a madness, how it kind of, you can lose control so quickly. Oh my god, it's such one of the best books I've ever read in my whole entire life. Like Damage, absolutely amazing book. And it's not really about the affair, whereas Damage is all about the affair. That is more about the murder has happened right at the beginning, he's got away with it, and it's about the effects on the girl's aunt, the man, Violet, and kind of the effects of the murder and of this affair. It's so good. Okay, next one, Mr. Ratchet. He's like a horrible character in the book. A book you love to hate. So this is one that I actually chose, a book that I think that I did hate, but I think I might love it now. And that is Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. I read this years and years ago and I wasn't like into it at all. I was like, she's just wandering around, she's not doing anything, it's boring. But it's really about depression, and I just think like being older, maybe I would like it more now, and so I would like to reread it. But I remember being like, she's not doing anything, and she wins a competition to go to New York and she's with all these other girls, and it's something to do with a magazine, I believe, and she's wandering around New York and she's got this amazing opportunity, and she's not embracing it at all, but that's because she's depressed, so she can't find any joy in anything she's doing. Everything just feels really grey to her. And I think when I was like younger, I was like, she's wasting this valuable opportunity. But now I understand that it's more about like mental health and how she's not choosing to waste it, she just can't help it. So I think I would maybe love this now. I would. Another book that I don't like but loads of people love is Girl, Woman, Other, and this I said was good as a series of short stories about different women. I did think it was good for that, but I didn't love it as much as everyone else did. And my review of this, there's so many great discussions in the comment section where people completely disagree with me, and we can chat about it and talk about it. But it's a book that probably like the book that everyone loves, and I don't. I just didn't get hyped for it. I did think as a series of short stories it was good, I just didn't like it as much as everyone else did, so that's why I thought I'll put that one on the list. The next question is about a woman who's really old-fashioned in the book, and she dresses really old-fashioned, and it's Princess Dragomiloff, a book that has been mouldering on your shelves for a while. And oh my god, when I started my channel I had this book, and that was like 2014 maybe I started this channel. Middlemarch by George Eliot. I just can't, it's just too big, it's just, oh, it's just, I don't have the willpower. Also the writing is like only a small insect would be able to read it, and I don't know. I might choose this as a project to do on my Patreon, because on my Patreon I do a book club. We're currently reading Tracy Beaker book, the one like Tracy Beaker, My Mum and Me. When Tracy Beaker's a mum, we're reading that book for the Patreon. But I might do this as kind of like a Patreon book club pick, and then for a few months we can get into it. But I just don't have the will. Like I look at this and I'm like, I don't have the will, but I also don't want to get rid of it. I do want to read it, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's because it's like big, and I just don't know if I'm going to like it or not. So that one has been on my shelves for forever, and I can't say that I'm going to read it anytime soon because I don't feel that inspired to read it. We then have Benedus, a book with a main character in service. So you can have someone who's a butler. Oh, sorry, hit you there. I've got a bit violent there. So an assault happened. A book where a character is in service. So I have chosen Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier, one of my all-time favourite books, but I love everything by Tracy Chevalier that I've read. And this is about a girl called Greet, and she starts working as a maid. I'm sure a lot of people know the story, but I don't want to spoil it. So she starts working as a maid because her family don't have any money, and a famous painter is in the house and he wants to paint her. So this is a retelling of who could be the girl in this very famous picture. Who is the girl in it? And Tracy Chevalier is saying she's making up this fiction that is this girl called Greet who worked as a maid, and he takes her in and says, can I actually paint you? And he puts on his wife's pearl earrings on this girl and the headdress and dresses her up to do this painting of her, and it's about their relationship within the book and about Greet. And also people kind of spreading rumours. I thought that was really interesting in the book. So she really likes this boy who works on a stall, and then he says to her, like, I heard you're basically sleeping with that man, and she's like, what on earth are you talking about? So how people at the time really like spread rumours about her. Really, really fantastic book. Absolutely love it. I love Greet. My heart broke for Greet. I just loved her so much. And she was in such a situation where she just couldn't win at all. I just loved it. Tracy Chevalier, I have read from her. I have them all here. Falling Angels, The Virgin Blue, Lady and the Unicorn, Remarkable Creatures. Love every single one of those books. Would recommend. Absolutely adore. We then have The Train Itself, another book that features this train. I don't have a book that features that train, but I have a book that features a train. So, you know, I'm cheating a little bit. But this is Leo Tolstoy's The Kreutzer Sonata, I think is how it's said, and it's about a man gets on a train and he's speaking to some other men in the carriage, and he's talking about his wife, and it's a very short book, and it starts and he's saying she was so beautiful, all the other men wanted to be with her, she was just stunning, and everyone wanted to be with her. And then it's what he did to her out of jealousy, what he ended up doing to his wife. This series is the Great Loves series, and I love the covers. They brought it out years and years ago, but I love these covers. So it always chose a plant. So this is obviously thorns, but it's got this blood splatter effect all over the thorns. I just really liked these editions. I thought they were gorgeous. I bought loads at the time, and this is a really interesting, very disturbing but interesting book. And then the last question that I can answer, there are more questions, but I'm just choosing the ones that I can answer. The last one is Snowstorm, a book that features a snowstorm or characters stuck in a weather condition. I have chosen, it's a bit of a cheat again, Misery by Stephen King, because it starts with a snowstorm. I know it's not tracked because of the snowstorm, but it starts because of the snowstorm. So this is about a man who's a famous author. This is my favourite Stephen King, by the way. I've read this and Carrie, and I prefer this to Carrie, and I adore the film. Oh my god, it's amazing. So this is about a man who's a famous author, and in a snowstorm he has an accident in his car, and then he wakes up and he's at this woman's house, and she used to be a nurse, and she's nursing him back to health, and she's called Annie, and she is his biggest fan, and they just happened to meet. She just happened to be out at the right time and help him. So she's saying, you know, I'm your biggest fan. He writes this book series that she absolutely adores, and she's going to nurse him back to health, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to her. He then has the manuscript of the brand new book in the boot of his car, and she says, can I read it? And he said, yeah, sure. And he's going to kill off the character that she loves. He's killing off the main character, finishing the series, and killing off this character who she absolutely adores. And so she decides to hold him hostage until he writes the book that she wants. So she keeps him there, he's bedbound, she keeps him there, as like kidnaps him there and says, no, you're not killing this character, you're gonna have to rewrite the whole thing. She's a complete psychopath, and it's so good. And she gives him an old typewriter and says, you're gonna redo this book because I don't like what you've done with the brand new book. And it is so good. This book, I did enjoy it, but I don't like books within books. So if a character is reading a book and they just print the book in it, I don't like that. So when he was rewriting the book, it had it just printed straight in, and I didn't find those bits very interesting. It's like in Rainbow Row, I didn't really like the fan fiction that much. I was more interested in the main characters, and with this I felt exactly the same. that all the bits that he was talking that he had written on his typewriter, the new rewrites of the story, I wasn't interested in that. I was more interested between him and his dynamic with Annie. And the film has Kathy Bates in it, and it's just one of my all-time favourite films. And the book, brilliant, absolutely gorgeous book. So that is it. That is the end of this tag. I was whittling on for 15 minutes now, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've read any of these books, then let me know. Also, if you did this tag, then let me know and I'll go and check out your tag. Feel free to join my Patreon. I'm always over there almost every day, putting up vlogs, book reviews, book clubs, loads of different stuff over there. So I'll link my Patreon down below. I think it's like 80p a month if you want to join, and there's loads of videos over there. So I'm going to end this video here, and I will see you again soon for another video. And yeah, I'm so awkward ending videos, like I don't even know what to say. Have a great Christmas, have yourself a merry little Christmas, have a great time, and I'll see you soon.